Isn't that crazy? Look at that. That's a beautiful, hopefully you can see that, beautiful large setting right there. All right, we're gonna go on a little metal detecting adventure today. I am on a small river that's quite cloudy today because it must have rained recently here. But anyway, I got a couple things I dug already, and I just want to show them to you because I'm very hopeful for today. So far I have a little homemade sinker. This is a piece of some type of sheet of lead, and it's got a hole punched in it for a string to go through there for a fishing weight or a sinker. And then I dug this, which is very interesting to me. It's a piece of lead. It's very heavy. It's got that curvature to it, and I'll be honest with you, between that curvature, the way that slopes down right there, I'm thinking this could actually be part of an artillery shell sabot or sabot from the Civil War. It's like a Dyer shell or something. It's a piece of lead that goes around the iron that helps the projectile grab the rifling so that it spins it when it goes out the barrel, and it, you know, makes it much more accurate and goes further. And they have to use lead for that, or they used lead for it back in those days, because if you tried to use the iron of the cannonball or the iron of their projectile, it would wear the barrel out really quick. So they had to use something soft. Back then they used lead. Today we use coppery mixture of some sort. I'm not exactly sure, or brass, for the same purpose. We don't use lead anymore. But anyway, those are two targets I dug really quick. I'm hoping this is a fording area right here, you know, place that they got across the river before the new bridge was built. I have another signal that I just dug, and this is where I decided I was going to go ahead and make the video, because it looks like a coin of some sort, or a token. I have no idea what that might be. It looks almost gold colored, doesn't it? So I thought we'd dig out together just to see. Really light, unfortunately. It looks just like gold. It looks just like a little gold coin, but it's very light, so I'm going to guess that's aluminum. I really didn't think it was gold until I started to go to pick it up, and then it's like, wow, that is really light. So that's a 5, so that's probably play money. Since it says it right on it. So yeah, so that's a little token of some sort. I won't show you all these targets, but I did want to let you know that I'm digging pieces of iron like this. That's probably, looks like a nail almost, although I'm not 100%. Could be a piece of wire, or something stinks. Something's dead downstream from us. I'm gonna try to dig a whole bunch of these. I'm gonna mostly dig iron that's bigger, that's like shell fragment size, so you know, 10 ounces and up maybe. I haven't actually moved from where I just found that nail and I was smashing it on the rock. I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but the actual target I was going after when I heard it in the metal detector, I haven't picked up yet. I got the pinpointer out and found that piece of iron, but that looks like a piece of flattened lead right there. Let's go ahead and take a look. Now that's kind of interesting right there. That's a flattened piece of lead. There's no writing on it. There's no way, there's no holes in it, so that wasn't, you know, made for a fishing weight or anything like that. So that's kind of interesting. This could have been lost from someone going through this area if this was a ford back in the day. So this is kind of disappointing, although not unheard of. A nice iron signal dug down probably a foot through that really hard-packed rock, hoping I was going to find like an old horseshoe from, you know, 1720, but instead I found a, looks like a little wagon wheel for like a toy of some sort. So I don't know. It even has rubber on it, so I don't even know how that got down that deep. Came down through here and didn't get really too many signals in there. We'll keep looking. I'm gonna go on the other side too. I'm not going out in the middle because those loose rocks, if there's anything in there, it's going to be pretty deep if it's been there any length of time. This is somebody's bench where they had a little camp here, swimming and stuff, I guess, and of course they left all the trash. He made a little barrier up there so they could pile it up, but they didn't take it with them. I just dug another nice deep hole right here, and I came up with this little jar. It's a little like milk glass jar. The bottom's pretty bad shape, but I was hearing that lid, which is aluminum, which is kind of odd. I just tried to open it, but it wouldn't come off very easily. We'll throw it in the bag, try to open it later. It might be full of little gold coins. So what do you make of this thing? Looks like it's maybe pot metal, like that zinky stuff, and it's got, I don't know if that's glass or hard plastic on the bottom with a a metal screw or something going through it, holding it together. Any idea what that might be? The mysteries of the river. You never know. I just got a nice little signal right here. Not quite buried, but I can see it. Can you? That looks like a spoon to me, an old spoon. I do believe that's what it is. These things can be notoriously hard to date unless they have maker's marks on them, but I think that's going to be an older one. Not something I would have used when I was a little kid. All right, pretty sweet. We're getting a few things. Nothing super historic yet, but day's not over, is it? I went down the creek a ways and kind of getting out of the area where the ford and bridge were, or should be. And I'm not digging a whole lot other than what you've seen. And a couple of these bullets, I figured I might as well show you one. This is a copper jacketed slug. That's a modern slug. You know, it's, well, after the Civil War. Most likely, you know, could be 60, 50, 40 years old very easily. I have a nice big chunk of iron here. It's not really like reading like a cannonball or anything. Haven't seen it yet, but it does magnet stuck to it. I couldn't pick it up though. There we go, right there. No idea what it might be, but we're gonna find out together. Alright, it's right there at the end of the magnet. So we should be able to reach it down there and just kind of pick it up. Let's see. You ready? That's some type of metal container. I don't know what it could be. My first thought was it might be like a very old oil can or something, but I'm not so sure looking at the seams on it. The signal there kind of kicked some rocks out and it went flying over to here, and I can see it. I think it's going to be a coin of some sort. No idea if that's going to be like a modern coin or a nice old one. Looks to be, I don't know, what would you guess? I don't think it's going to be very old. That is some type of Washington quarter that looks like it's been in the river for about 200 years, but probably closer to 20. I'm not sure what state that is, but yeah, so that's a modern quarter. That's kind of to be expected when you're in areas like this where, you know, people drink and party. We're on another river now, close by, and I found my first item. I thought it was an artillery shell, but as it turns out to be, not an artillery shell. I think this is actually a big scale weight, and that hook is where you would hang it. So this is probably, you know, a couple pounds, maybe 5, and well, that's what it is. It's a scale weight. Found that right here, which is kind of interesting. I guess it could have been used for somebody trapping, might have used it or whatever, but there is a farmstead up there, and there was Civil War stuff around that house. Well, I've bebopped along for about 100 yards and haven't really got hardly any signals at all. I should be about where the house is now, up there on the bank. Did get a signal here, and I went ahead and started digging it. And I do believe it's what one would call a fishing rod and reel. Zebco 33, I reckon. Yeah, this actually used to be a really good fishing area. Back when I was a kid, they used to stock this with trout. The state did. And I used to fish all along through here. And it's really odd because I'm not finding any fishing sinkers or anything like that, or any lures. Very strange. And those fields over there were big Indian camps. And used to find tons of arrowheads and stuff in those, but now they're all not houses, but there's, well, yeah, there's a farm there now and some other buildings. And of course it's grass, so you won't be able to see anything, but we'll come down that side. I don't really have high hopes of finding anything in the river though that way. Just a little quick side story for you. Right up around the bend there used to be a little cabin that an old crazy guy lived in, and that was one of the times in my life when I was kayaking with a friend. When we came down past his house, he started shooting at us with a rifle. I mean, the bullets were whizzing right by us, you know, hitting the bank like right behind me, you know, splashing up dirt and stuff. And then he held us at gunpoint for a while and wouldn't let us go. And then finally, it's like, just go. And well, actually, he didn't say just go. He just kind of motioned to us. He never said a single word. And when I turned it into the sheriff, went to talk to the sheriff about it, he's like, "Oh no, don't worry about that. That's just old crazy Mr. Shade. That's his real name. I'm gonna go down. I'll go down there and talk to him." And so he's like, what the hell, man, that guy was shooting at us, you know. And so I found out later on that Mr. Shade was actually like the uncle of the sheriff. So it was they kind of just buried that, and eventually he died, you know, probably 30 years ago. But this is the stretch of river where I had the first gunshots at me. It was quite terrifying. I was young, I was still in high school, you know. Here's another fishing rod. That's a funky looking one. It's kind of weird because there's really no rapids here that anybody would like flip over and lose stuff. I see somebody coming down on the kayak there, but that might just be the Mr. Shade. I do like the fact that the rock's getting to be really solid on the bottom, so you know, anything's out here, we should be able to find it no problem. That might be a kayak coming this way, I'm not sure. All right, let's get back at it. And I don't know if I really said before, but one of the reasons I'm here is because I'm hoping there might be an old bottle dump or something from when this farm back in the day, they might have thrown the trash over the side into the river. That's pretty common. In fact, that tire there probably came from the farm. I'm starting to get, ooh, that's a broken horseshoe. I'm starting to get a lot of iron signals in here, so we might be getting into a dumping area. That's a big old farm horseshoe, like a plow horse, and it's broken in half. Maybe you can hear some of this, but if you can see the metal detector. I got discrimination on 20 because I don't know why, but lots of iron in here. Hopefully you can hear that. Let me go ahead and crank that down. I'll crank discrimination down, and you can hear the iron. Those grunts are like, could be nails or wire, but the fact that there's a horseshoe makes me very hopeful that there might be some good stuff in here. Might be getting close to a dump. That's a little squeaker right there. Let's go ahead and dig that together, and I'll have to go back and get my pick. Obviously it's not going to be any underwater action, but there's old crawdad sitting there. You see him or not? It's not easy to do this one-handed. There's a lot of wire. It's like really thin wire though, so that's barbed wire, but it's not very big around. And the pinpoint, that's all I'm just getting handfuls of that stuff. But there's definitely a squeaker in there. Let's see if we can just fan it maybe and we can see it. It's hard when you just pick it up handfuls of wire. I don't think this is going to be wire right here though. Yeah, I think I see some copper. Thought I saw some coppery looking stuff. See it? Might be a coin. Dude, I think that's a large cent. Freaking awesome. You see it right there? Right there. Can you see? I'm going to put you under, okay? All right. Hold your breath. Isn't that crazy? Look at that. That's a beautiful, hopefully you can see that, beautiful large cent right there. 1817 maybe. Oh, that's gorgeous. Look at that baby. There might be 100 of them. This whole area might just be paved with large cents and barbed wire. 1817. Wow. Why is this here? Other than it was probably a dumping area. Well, maybe there was a ford here. Look at that. Look at the rocks going across. Maybe this is the original fording area. And the bridge is actually downstream about 200-300 yards. This might have been the original fording area. I bet that's what's going on. This is the first shallow area I've seen where the it wasn't just all cobbles. Like down by the bridge is a bunch of cobbles, and I always thought that was probably where the ford was. But this is solid rock. This is where you want to bring wagons across, right here. Oh man, we're on it now. Dude. I'll be quiet now. Let's get back to digging. That's where I dug the large cent, right in that area. And I got another signal here. It's non-ferrous. It's not reading like a large. Well, it's a little bit better. I don't think this is going to be a large cent, but I think it's going to be not a nail, a piece of wire. Maybe we can see it together. It was awesome seeing that large cent like we did. All right, let's see if we got that. I see something here. It could be lead. Oh, that's a pull tab. Not gonna put you under. All right, so well, we got a pull tab. All right, let's keep going. I'm just happy we found a large thing because that made the trip right there. Well, both trips, the entire day. Made the entire day. Hope there's no leeches in here. I didn't get you out for this one, but it was a nice little squeaker. And what I have is a fishing lure. That's a little spinner blade. Probably somebody trout fishing back in the day. Heck, I could have lost that. Who knows? And let's just look at this ford, what I think is the fording area. It's got a solid rock all the way across. So this would make an ideal place to have a ford where you take wagons across. You take them diagonally. Because if we were in an area like down by the bridge where it's all just big cobbles, after a couple wagons go through, the cobbles would get all like pushed up and rutted, and it'd be really hard for a horse to pull it through. But a horse would have no trouble at all pulling big heavy wagon wheels across something like that, because it's like pavement right there, nice and hard. This ought to be good. That just started making noise over there. I think that's a sewer plant over there. A sewage treatment plant, I do believe. I'll let you know if it comes out. We're going to stay on this side of the creek, this side. But that's sewage right there. Treated to, oh, it stinks. That's very earthy. Just started coming out. Oh, that's horrible. Right downstream, just around the bend, there's a whole bunch of people swimming. I mean, supposedly you can actually drink that. It's pure enough to drink. Safe enough to drink, but I can definitely smell it. It smells very earthy. Just like those people are going to smell in a few minutes. I hear screaming. The ghost of Mr. Shade must be on the river. The poor kids are going to be in the sewage, unfortunately. Yeah, so I'm not getting a lot of targets. Just a few things like this. This is, again, a big piece of like tin or something. I mean, that could be Civil War era. A lot of little targets, no big squeaks. I have a killer, absolutely killer signal right here by that log. See, it's nice and tight. Mid to upper 80s. That could be like a Civil War belt buckle or a big piece of brass or copper. I'm very, very hopeful about this one. Now, cans usually a little bit lower than that, but it could be a can. I've been full before. Oh no. Yeah, there's an old garden hose. I saw this coming up. I thought it might be the end of the garden hose. Actually, this little brass end down there. Hopefully, that's not what I'm hearing. It's part of that. Oh, in a minute. Oh no. Was that like a bait cartridge? That's what I was hearing. Man, that thing sounded high. Woo-wee. I thought I had a belt buckle, but we don't. Alright, maybe the next one will be. I'm close to where I found that bait cartridge, so I didn't get you out for this, but this is a screamer of a signal. Fortunately, it's just a piece of copper pipe, but this is just like a melted piece. Kind of puddled right there. But what I find most interesting about it, especially here, is that this wasn't made for like a fishing weight, because there's no way to attach a line to it. So this could be melted lead from maybe a camp or a house that was right up in here, an old one. Now this is really cool. I'm about 100 yards above the sewer outlet there where I was digging stuff. I'm just kind of basically scurrying along the bank pretty quick just to see what's in this area. I've only made one pass right along the bank so far, anywhere today, even where I found that large scent. But I just came across this cool, interesting rock pile. If you notice, it kind of starts over there and swings down this way. Comes to a little bit of a V and goes back across. I was thinking it might be like an old fish trap. And it could be, from the early European Americans or the Indians. We'll go up to that corner there, where it looks like it gets a little bit deeper, and then we'll come back down. So right on the bend there, where I told you is about as far as we're going to go. Not really getting much iron at all, so this could very well just be a fish weir. But I just got this hatchet right here, which I don't know if it's going to be an old hatchet. I bet that's gone. Well, I don't know. It's got the notch in it. Oh, it's got a maker's mark on it. That's unusual for me to find. Kind of weird to find a hatchet right here. That's more or less a cliff right there. I don't think these would float very far. I think that's going to be an old one right there. If any of you guys know your hatchets and axes, let me know if you would. I don't think there's anywhere I'm going to be able to read that maker's mark, but that general design, when did they start making those? I have no idea. All right, cool. Let's keep at it. We'll just go a little bit further, right up to where the rocks end, because it's going to get really muddy right in that area right there. All right, so this is as far as we're going to go today. You can see we're getting on the inside bend. It's going to be all mud and stuff here, so we'd have to scoot around there to get back to digging. The old man Shade's cabin was right around that bend. It's long since gone. Big Indian camps up in those fields. Maybe next time or the time after, when we come back, we'll walk up the other side and see if we can see some artifacts that might have fallen in from the fields. All right, so let's go ahead and head back down and see what we can find. I think we have about another good hour and a half, and then we'll have to call it a day, but we'll come back. I promise you that. Probably, I guarantee before you see this video, I will have come back here. I have to do that nowadays.
My big round baby, and I'll rock you until I go to sleep. She'll shake the coins from your pocket, take your gold chain and your locket. Mother Earth has no sympathy. She'll take the ring from your hand and bury it in the sand and keep it for eternity. Mother Earth, she's got her secrets she's promised to keep, hidden in her dirt or deep in her creek. Mother Earth, she ain't saying exactly what she's saving, where it is or what it might be. Mother Earth, you are my lady, my big round baby. I'll rock you until I go to sleep. She don't care if you're dying or if you're living or somewhere in between.